Okay. Good afternoon from Bangkok, Thailand, everyone. My name is Rasita Sikert-Krun, Program Coordinator of NEDAC, Bangkok. NEDAC stands for Network of Agricultural Cooperatives in Asia and the Pacific. It was set up in 1991 by UNFAO, ILO, and ICA. It's headquartered in Bangkok. NEDAC has 21 cooperative organizations as members from 12 countries. NEDAC's mandate is to work with regional governments in empowering the cooperatives in the agricultural and rural development sectors and ensure rural food and livelihood security. As today is the International Cooperative Day, which is an annual celebration of the global cooperative movement initiated by the International Cooperative Alliance, or ICA. NEDAC is organizing a short technical session to commemorating this occasion in the theme of Cooperatives and Socio-environmental Changes, Experiences from Thailand. The resource person today is Dr. Phuoc Nguyen, and the discussion will be managed by Dr. Salin Krishna, Honorary Director of NEDAC, Bangkok, Thailand. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Phuoc Nguyen. Dr. Lai is Assistant Professor at the Department of Development and Sustainability, Asian Institute of Technology, AIT, Thailand. She holds a Master in Development, Innovation, and Change from University of Bologna, Italy, and PhD in Governance and Complex Systems from University of Sassari, Italy. Dr. Lai's research crosses beyond conventional social science disciplinary and integrate interdisciplinary aspects to address the complexity and uncertainty that challenge development. It centers upon understanding human dimension in planning and management of the environment. Specific areas of interest are coupled human environment complex systems, institutions, and governance of socio-ecological systems, education for sustainable development. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Lai for the presentation. Please, Dr. Lai.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. I am not able to share my presentation, so could you please allow? Maybe you go to share screen and there are multi-participant sharing.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Can you share it now?
Okay, yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to have a presentation today during this important event of NEDAC. So today I would like to share some my perspective on the cooperative and social environmental change. I would like to introduce some experience from Thai country. So Yeah, this is my outline of my presentation. So I will introduce to social environmental change, including climate scenario for Thailand, impact of climate change on production system, and the challenge of COVID-19. I will introduce why we need to have the local adaptation to the social environmental change and the role of cooperatives in the social environmental change. So cooperative as the among local institutions and cooperative and social capital. And I introduce cooperative in Thailand and some study case of promoting the role of cooperative in the social environmental change management.
Dr. Lai, can you please make it the presentation mode?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As you find, you know that Thailand is the eighth largest economy in Asia. But like many other countries, Thailand is facing the challenges of development, including climate change, aging population, environmental degradation, air pollution because of intensive use of vehicle, biomass burning from agriculture, water scarcity pollution, and also regional and global dynamic. In this slide, you see that the climate scenario in Thailand projected both rainfall in temperature tend to increase over time. So we can see that the rainfall increase and also the minimum and maximum temperature also increase. This is projection to 2019. Here I only put the average annual maximum temperature, but the minimum temperature also changed significantly in Thailand. The social economic change have impact on the production systems. So here, my example about the social environmental change would impact on rice yield. Okay, so we can see that this study showed that the rice yield in Thailand tended to decrease under future change in climate and social environmental condition. So we can see that the figures show that the rice yield in Thailand tend to decrease under the future change in climate and social condition compared to the baseline. Okay, so rice yield were projected to drop as much as around 48% during 2090 and 2100 from the baseline from 1985 2005. So that is the effect of change in climate and social conditions in Thailand. Yeah, rice yield during the projection period of 2090 and 2100 is 10 years. So here we can see also how the social environmental change can make the damage in terms of the economic values. So this figures so that the climate change will project the effect in Thailand. Agriculture range from around 17 million to 80 billions as the show in this figure in all different scenarios. So that is what is the climate change, temperature change, rainfall change, and how it impacts on the production system. Here I provide the example on rice production system, but it's also affected affected different cropping system and also other production system. Like other countries in the world, Thailand also face the challenges of the COVID pressure in Thailand. So we can see that Thai in the last periods of this year is having the affected case increase significantly. And this is the case reported, the situation of COVID-19 in 1st July, so it's 2 days ago. So the number of infected is an incredible increase. And some study also show that the temperature and the infected COVID case are associated. Okay, sorry, there is some errors in my typing. And also the spread of the disease was associated with the social activity. So the important is how to have a regulation and partnership among the organization in order to control the COVID-19 spreading. So that is the challenge of the COVID also in Thailand. So Thailand, like other countries, facing the social environmental change that affect on the national and local economy. So that is the social environmental change. There is the need of the local adaptation to social environmental change. There are different types of adaptations. Could be mobility. So kind of movement of various time in response to risk and scarcity. And phenomena also happen in Thailand and also regional country in the region that rural out migration massively and is linked to the condition of lack of the manpower and labor force in our country, in the rural area of many countries. The second type of the adaptation could be storage. So how that the local community can also store the past surplus as the effective measure against the future livelihood failure. Or another category of adaptation could be the diversification. So this occur in relation to on and off farm employment opportunity, productive or non-productive asset and consumption strategies. Or communal pooling. So this is referred to adaptation response involving joint ownership and sharing of wild labor and income crop across the households. This needs very much the role of local institution. Okay, and or the other category of adaptation is market exchange. So this is require the developed market exchange instruments and so on. So in order to promote this kind of adaptation, local adaptation, the institutional and social factor that play very important role. So cooperatives are among local institutions because rural institutions, including public civic market and different organization agency work at the rural institutions, including cooperatives who belong to the civic institution or organization. On this institution, rural institutions have the role in the mobilities of local communities, storage capacity, diversifications, communal pooling and exchange. So all the adaptation practice to social environment change depend very much for their success on the per-fit institution arrangement. So, how to promote the cooperative in order they can fulfill this kind of role in terms of adaptation, local adaptation. So cooperative and social capital. Cooperative is considered as the mean for the development of social capital. So what is social capital? Social capital is either connection among individuals, is either and social network in the norm of reciprocity and trustworthiness that arise from them. This is one of definition of social capital. But the social capital can be also the informal relationship, norm, trust, obligation, and reciprocity among the individual or group in the society. And social capitals based on very much on the facilitation of collective and individual action that are generated by certain network, reciprocity, trust, and social norm, and develop on the network. That is the social capital. So social capital and cooperative, they share the common feature, the parent in relation and business activity. So on this feature, well, I have some internet problem, I think. Do you hear me? I have an internet problem.
Yeah, we can hear you, no
yes,
problem.
Can hear.
Okay. So on this feature will promote the activities of cooperative. At the same time, it also generates the social capital. So including the voluntary associate people, if they have a trust, they have a reciprocity, or they accept norm and rule, or they are transparent, or the common interest and common goal and investment necessities or private and direct participation. That is on the feature of the common feature of the cooperative and social capital. So cooperative in the Thailand, what is the situation of cooperative in Thailand? At 5, we know that the number of cooperative in Thailand increased over time. So the two general types of cooperative in Thailand, including agricultural cooperative and non-agricultural cooperative. So involve a lot of the farmer as the member of cooperative. So the total cooperative in Thailand in 2017 is 7,083 cooperative and almost 12,080,000 people participate as a member in cooperative. So the last number of the cooperative, including also community associations established in every village in Thailand under the Thai national government program set up by Community Organization Development Institute in 2000. So there are many projects on the agriculture production improvement, environment management, saving group welfare is funded by the government to support community networking for poverty reduction. That's the reason why the cooperative in Thailand increase over time and play very important role in development of the country and poverty reduction. I would like to provide some experience of some case study to promote the role of cooperative in managing social environmental change through research. So the role of the researcher, scientist is very important to provide evidence, understanding of the cooperative performance and also provide the knowledge proposal on the new framework or recommendation on how the cooperative can operate in this certain and complex environment. So here I only show the case without any the result. But if you have any question on that, I'm available to provide more information. So the first case here is the research focus on the role of cooperative in promoting knowledge and practice towards sustainable agriculture. So this study we were involved in 16 cooperative in Prachinburi in Thailand, and also 32 cooperative in Saraburi province. So the aim to examine the social capital, so relationship, interaction, common norm, rule, and network of cooperative in different social economic context and different farming system. So here we would like to see how the social capital develop and also operate within the cooperative. So which are the social economic factors that affect the social capital development and the function of the cooperative. Here you see that Prachinburi is a quite rural province. It's far from the urban area, but Saraburi is very near to Bangkok. So they have a really different social economic context, especially in Prachinburi, where they have 90% of the farmer own their land, but in Saraburi, around 80% of the farmers are landless. Okay. So in this study, we try to assess the role of cooperative in the farmer knowledge and practice of sustainable farming. That is the first case of our study. The second is the role of a cooperative in promoting farmer individual and collective behavior toward environmental adaptation. This study is focused on Surin province. Surin province is the northeast regions of Thailand. The province is considered as the poorest province in Thailand, and the province have a kind of intensive environmental and climate impact, especially road and water scarcity. So more of young farmer, young people migrate to the city and other country in the region for job. So in this study, we study 270 farmers, and we try to see the farmer perception of change in agriculture environmental around them. We also try to understand the farmer individual and collective practice toward sustainable agriculture to reduce the environmental impact and to also mitigate the impact of the climate change. So at the end of the study, we try to look at on how cooperative affect the farmer individual and collective practice towards sustainable agriculture in the context of climate change and environmental change. So that is the study 2. The 3D tree that we work with the cooperative, but also the community organization. So we see the role of the digital communication on water, sanitation, and hygiene, and the health protection measure of the urban marginalized people against COVID-19. So in this study, we involve 17 organizations, including also cooperative, and 450 respondents in the Klong Toy slum community in Thailand. So in this study, we try to see how performance of the community development organization, including cooperative, in digital communication regarding waste and health protection measures in combating COVID-19. So we try to work on the role of digital communication in the marginalized people knowledge, attitude, and behavior toward COVID-19 protection, and how the role of cooperative or the community organization play in the role of digital communication and health protection measure providing. That is the third study case. So I would like to start by my presentation with the conclusion. So how we promote the cooperative performance for local adaptation to the social environmental change. Yes, one thing that's important that it develops social capital through cooperatives. If we don't work on the social capital development, so mean function based on the nature of the cooperative. So in this presentation, I don't explain because you are all expert in the cooperative. So if we don't promote the social capital through cooperative, that the cooperative will not function. Then another that is the institution partnership in facilitating local adaptation. Mean that cooperative need to partnership with the other cooperative in the same region, okay, provincial, sharing experience with among themselves, or even at the international level, okay. Enhance the capacity of cooperative. If the cooperative want to play the role in providing knowledge or disseminating knowledge on how to adapt to social environmental change, cooperative need to have a capacity of knowledge, capacity of the technology, capacities of organization. So many cooperatives established in many countries, especially in Thailand, but just only having the name of cooperative, but then there are no any activity. And also we found in Thailand that the farmer, they don't meet every time. They meet even maybe once a year or maybe once 2 years. And they are talking about something else, not for the knowledge spillover, technology, or the capacity development, and so on. So the institution coordination cross case for better planning and implementation, because most of cooperative at the local level, they do not have a kind of partnership with other cooperative in other province, but also they don't have a kind of coordination at the regional, provincial, and the national level. Okay, in order they can learn how to better planning and implementation their activity on the ground, and especially at the end, that is how to promote the social learning and behavior change in and among cooperative. We are talking about cooperative. So who are the member of cooperative? All they are local people. They are farmers. They are normal people. They need to have a knowledge in order to change in their understandings. So if they change in their understanding, they will change in practice. So the situation can change from one situation to other situation, that they can transform and they build adaptive capacity to the environmental change. So this is, I finished my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lai, for sharing your ideas. Okay, now I would request Dr. Salin Krishna, Honorary Director of NEDAC, to take forward for the short discussion. Please, sir.
Thank you, Resita, and thank you, Dr. Lai, for your excellent presentation. And it was so comprehensive, covering the agriculture, cooperatives, to the urban marginalized helping the livelihood of urgent marginalized population communities. I think your presentation really highlights that cooperatives are one of the best development models for empowering these rural communities to cope up with the challenges of either climate change or pandemic, whichever, because empowering them means they are given sufficient information and also providing them with the key tools that will help them face up to the challenges. I was wondering if, because you mentioned some of the technologies also that can help them, just wondering if or how the modern technologies can help these communities or cooperatives to face the challenges either from the pandemics like COVID-19 or the climate change. Can you please elaborate more on this?
Yeah, thank you very much for the questions. Technologies is the important measure for adapting to the social environmental change, especially also pandemic. So I would like to give some experience of how technology could help, especially digital technology. So there are many also research try to promote how to make the adoption of the technology effectively in the rural area or in the local community that can help the local people to make use of technology in their daily life. I made one example on the ICTs and in agriculture development. Okay, many farmers belong to cooperative in Thailand. They face problem of assessing the information not only for production but information for the market. So farmers they produce very intensive agricultural production in Thailand. Productivity is not bad, it's high. But why the majority of farmers also, especially small farm holder, they are poor in Thailand just because they don't find a market, okay, for themselves, even though they belong to the cooperative. Mean that the cooperative have a power of the bargains, okay. They can connect with also the big seller, okay, or they can connect to supermarket or producer or processor. But then cooperative doesn't do the job here to promote the marketing activities of the farmer because the cooperative, they don't have a tool, especially they don't have the knowledge in the ICTs, okay, how to use the ICT, the social media, digital device, not computer, mobile phone. Everyone have mobile phone, but they don't use that to promote the activity. So this is one example. Another example is nowadays many developed country, they use kind of technology like app applications on phone where the farmer can see the weather forecasting in order they can adjust their farming activity on the field. But eventually the farmer, they don't know how to access to this information. Although there is also existing information. But why cooperative cannot do this? Because the cooperative, they have no capacity. So enhancing capacity of the technology, especially also digital capacity to the cooperative essential in order they can play the better role in the community development. So that in terms of pandemic, it's the same. So the local people, they don't know how to practice very basic protection measures like social distance, washing hands, using safe water. But if the cooperatives cannot do the job that provide the correct knowledge, information to the local people. So the local people, they don't know how to manage themselves. So cooperatives should also have a capacity on the communication, digital communication. So that is some example I just saw why the technology is important for cooperative to enhance their role in the community development. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lai. Yes, in fact, your presentation covered very comprehensively the need for enhancing the social capital, which is quite important for enhancing the capacity of the cooperatives, particularly through shared access to information, shared resources, and also shared infrastructure, especially for marketing. Production infrastructure is there, but still there are problems with marketing. So thank you very much for your presentation, which provided a very in-depth, especially your case study were the highlight again, because that really showed the success of research contributing to the development of cooperatives. And that is the future, because I think this development should also be research-based. That will give some creditable results to our outlook for how cooperatives can be empowered or their capacity can be enhanced to make them, resilient to the challenges, especially the pandemic and the looming climate change impacts. I think thank you very much for your excellent presentation. And
everyone.
Nice to have you. And then over to you, Rasita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Celine and Dr. Lai. Now, on behalf of NEDAC, I would like to thank all the participants, cooperative societies, and associates for celebrating the International Cooperative Day with us today. Thank all IT supporting staff and all others for making this event a success. Especially deepest gratitude to our resource person today, Dr. Lai Nguyen, Assistant Professor from AIT, who is the key person of today's success. I would like to thank to Dr. Salim Krishna, Honorary Director of NEDAC, for his kind support and cooperation. Last but not the least, gratitude to our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Sandeep Kumar Nayak, NEDAC, for his leadership for NEDAC members. Thank you for your participation. Wishing the future prosperity to all. Looking forward to seeing you again. Stay safe, everyone.